We are now joined by Charlene Van Cott. She is a DAV care coordinator, service officer, and decorated veteran with 2 tours of Afghanistan. Your military career, Charlene, it began back in 2012. You served in Operation Enduring Freedom with 2 deployments in Afghanistan, and now join a relatively small group, right? I mean, I was trying to research what percentage of American veterans are female, and I came up with about 10%. So you're in a fairly unique group of U.S. veterans. Talk to us about your time in the military and specifically, serving as a female.
Yeah, thank you for that. So it is a unique opportunity to have. On my first deployment to Afghanistan, it was 2013, so middle of the conflict over there, and working with the Afghan National Army as a female, you can imagine, based upon their cultural rules, expectations, some were not so open to having a female counterpart, whereas there were others who would actually invite me to sit down and partake in chai with them. So wow. It was very eye-opening to understand that I would be part of the changing of their culture and how it is they want to move forward, integrating females as respected members of their society.
When did you leave the military? And can you talk to me a little bit about that transition out of the military and into civilian life?
So I actually haven't transitioned yet. I'm still actually a drilling reservist.
Okay.
I just crested over 14 years.
Congratulations.
Just got promoted to staff sergeant back in July. So career is where I'm looking to take forward, looking for that 20 years. I'll probably do 21 only to make sure I give them that full 20 that they
darn right
might take back some. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. I work for the training battalion out at Fort Devens. I'm an instructor. So what that does is, after 2 combat tours, 13 years of service, your body gets a little broken, but my mind isn't. And so being able to take my knowledge and my experience and pass that along to these upcoming new soldiers that they can take forward, it really is that reach back, pull one forward philosophy. So
let's move forward here and talk about the DAV. How did you first hear about the Disabled American Veterans of Massachusetts?
So after my first deployment, I was wounded, and I spent 15 months at the Wounded Warrior Battalion at Fort Drum, New York, rehabilitating. They were attempting to medically retire me from the Army, but I was too stubborn to let that happen. I wanted to prove that broken crayons can, in fact, still color. So I was able to prove that I was still fully deployable, still mission capable, returned back home as a reservist. And in talking to members of my community, someone said, the troubles that I had experienced and receiving the benefits and such, they said, why don't you go over to DAV? They're behind the college and they'll help you out.
Had you even heard of them prior to that?
Not really. Everybody always talks about the American Legion and the VFW, which are great veteran service organizations, but I think DAV is one of the best kept secrets of the veteran service community.
Well, let's not keep it a secret. So you are now working through the DAV in addition to being active duty military right now. Talk to me about that. Well, I'm sure you're busy, first and foremost, but talk to me about your role within the DAV and how you help folks out.
Yeah, so it's actually one of those blessings in disguise. So when I did go to DAV, I walked in and Mike was the claims officer who helped me, and we kind of looked at each other and realized that we actually knew each other from high school. And then subsequently he was like, hey, come,
Was that a good thing or a bad thing, Charlene?
It was a great thing. It really, truly was. It kind of, brought back, memories of knowing who I was and how far I've come in my adult life and career.
I'm sure.
To which then, they offered me a position as a case manager, and I was like, I don't really think that's my jam. I'm a firefighter, I'm a paramedic, I'm a police officer. Like that's not really, my thing. So last year, Kayla, the director, reached out and was like, hey, I could really utilize your medical background in our housing program. A lot of these veterans don't really understand what they're being told medically. Can you bridge that gap for me? To which I came on board in a part-time capacity, helping with that. And then as of August, I jokingly say that I drank the Kayla juice and really
the Kayla Kool-Aid.
Kayla Kool-Aid.
Yep.
And really just embodied, being able to serve my fellow veterans, because as someone who faced the trials and the tribulations and coming home with moral injury and PTSD and working through all that and not having someone there to help me, I think it's being able to be that person that I didn't have for someone else.
That's really fantastic, Charlene. I want to leave with one other item because we touched on it, but I think it deserves a little bit more. Everyone out there has seen different veteran service organizations, disabled veteran organizations. I've personally, looked at other ones, donated to other ones, been a part of other ones as well. And I know you have too. And I would like your perspective on that because I know you belong to several of these and are active in many of them. What do you find so unique about the DAV? And again, if you can compare and contrast here and exactly why it is so beneficial for funds to go to the DAV, that'd be great.
So, as you mentioned, I do belong to several other veteran service organizations, sure. Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association, which is great. I get to ride my motorcycle with other combat veterans and veterans as a whole, and we get to raise funds to give to organizations like the DAV. American Legion VFW, I belong to those because I think it is important to have those institutions still remain. What separates the DAV Department of Massachusetts from anyone else, I think, is our housing program. We participate in the VA Transportation Network, providing free rides to and from VA medical appointments or VA-directed medical appointments, which is nationwide. It's a great feature to be able to offer veterans. But our housing program, we're the only DAV in the country that has this housing program. And what we're able to do is we're able to take these veterans, and sometimes veterans with families or veterans with children, who are otherwise housing insecure or homeless, living in their cars, living in, stick-built shacks in the woods. And we're able to take them in and say, hey, this is your opportunity to take a knee, drink some water. We got you. And we're going to help you, and we're going to give you the resources, and we're going to give you the tools to rebuild your life and be able to move forward from this program to have the life that you want and that you deserve. You gave your time and of yourself to this country, so the least that we can do as an organization is give our time to help further that.
It's fantastic work. It's something you should truly be proud of, and a continued great career. So, Charlene, thank you so much for joining us. Again, that's Charlene Van Cott. She is a DAV care coordinator, service officer, and decorated active duty Army member as well. And speaking with us today about her experience with the DAV. If that doesn't inspire you, then I don't know what does.